Remember when it was a done thing to ask a girl's father for her hand in marriage before asking her herself? They didn't always say yes, did they? Imagine you called on your girlfriend's father and he said, "I'd rather see my daughter in a coffin than see her marry you." It's not what you want to hear, is it? What would you do? I bet it's not what the guy in the story I'm going to tell you about did. Before that though, I want to tell you a load more interesting stuff about this beautiful little coastal town that I'm walking into today. Stuff like the beginnings of the Glorious Revolution, a storm that cost the lives of over 100 men, the origins of a hymn we all know and love, a historic ship. Before that though, I'm starting this walk here at Berry Head, and so maybe I should tell you a little bit about Berry Head. The building remains you see here are what's left of the fort that was built to protect the Torbay anchorage from the attack from the French during the Napoleonic Wars. Yes, I managed to say Napoleonic Wars first time, and now I've said it twice. I so struggled with that word last time I came here. Anyway, before that it was an Iron Age hill fort, and so you can tell that it's always been somewhere that's been strategically important. Where Brixham sits in the bottom corner of Torbay, which incidentally is also known as the English Riviera, it's the most protective part from the prevailing southwesterly winds. So it's always been the ideal spot to moor up the fleet while awaiting further orders. And in fact, Napoleon Bonaparte himself was held on a ship after capture just off of Brixham here whilst they were waiting to decide what to do with him. Nowadays this is a nature reserve, and it's probably best known now for the wide variety of seabirds you get here. You really don't have to be an expert. On any given day you can come along and see guillemots, razorbills, and what was the other one I like to remember? It's going to come to me in a minute. Kittiwakes, that was it. I guess you need a bit of knowledge to know what you're actually looking at, but even if you don't have any knowledge at all, they're still here, putting an aerobatic display in the sky for you. Shame I got the wrong camera to catch them. Even in the night time, the skies are interesting here because the caves below us house a load of great horseshoe bats, which are quite rare and protected species. On the 5th of November 1688, William of Orange landed here in Brixham, coming from Holland, and then pretty much marched to London unopposed, taking James II off the throne and assuming the rule for himself. And that was called the Glorious Revolution. Nice clear view across Torbay. Now Brixham has a lifeboat station, and I did read that it has 2 lifeboats, but I went by there yesterday, and we'll be going past there shortly actually, and it has more than 2, or there's certainly more than 2 there at the moment, so what the story is behind that. But what I'm coming to is they haven't always had a lifeboat station, so let me tell you how that came about. On the January night in 1866, this area was subjected to what's been called a storm of unusual severity, whatever that means. But many passing ships had anchored up in the bay to take shelter from the storm already, and it seems what happened is that the wind changed direction, and that was catastrophic because the wind, the prevailing wind, is the southwesterlies, which normally goes straight past. Berry Head protects the whole of Tor Bay from the prevailing winds. But when the wind changed direction and was coming with unusual severity apparently, 11 local trawlers were wrecked that night, plus 40 ships that were taking refuge in the bay that got driven from their anchor and ended up being wrecked on the shores. There are no official figures, but apparently it's believed that over 100 men died that night, and it was a result of that a lifeboat station was created here. In fairness, I don't think the lifeboat could have done anything that night, but not very much, that's for sure, but it's certainly saved plenty of lives since. We're just passing Berry Head Hotel, which apparently, well, I read it's the largest hotel in Brixham. I don't know if that information's out of date now, but I've heard the food there is lovely, and the view is absolutely to die for, and yeah, nice. But apparently before it was a hotel, it was Berry Head House, and was once the home to a Reverend Francis Light, who was the vicar in the All Saints Church in Brixham Town, which is coming to soon. Let this car pass. Now, Reverend Francis Light is known for the fact that in his last weeks, when he was living at Berry Head House, he wrote the hymn "Abide with Me." Have a little bit of useless information. All courtesy of Joe Coastal. Now this is Shellstone Seawater Pool. It's what it says on the tin. It's a swimming pool filled with seawater and set right on the coast. It's a beautiful place to take a dip, I think. Let's go to the beach. What you see behind me is called the Tide and Time Bell. When the tide comes in, the waves catch the clangor underneath and the bell actually rings. Apparently it's an art project, but quite a nice looking thing.
Hey baby, ooh. Whoa. Can I tell you what's on my mind? 'Cause I've been but less than lovers. This is not the end. There's much more to discover. Promise to stay. Will you promise to never leave? If I tell you what's on my mind, can I let you see the real me? Will you hang around or will you break free? Would you break free, baby? I just need to know. Would you let me go if I tell you what's on my mind? I know the day will come. When I let you go, the love I offer you will only grow. Promise to stay. Will you promise to never leave? That is to really it's you and me forever. Yeah. Ooh.
It's pretty blowy up here. Tell you, this is a good test of my DJI mics. If they're passing this wind test, then I'm going to put a link in the description. It's pretty blowy up here. It's pretty blowy up here. Now, Francis Drake seems to have lived an interesting life. Having been born here in Tavistock to a poor family, I guess a life of piracy was always on the cards, and so it proved. But how he went from being a pirate to being a vice admiral in the navy and then a knighthood, God knows. But he managed it, and probably his most famous achievement was sailing around the world on a ship called the Golden Hind. And there's a full-size replica ship of the Golden Hind right here in Brixham Harbour. Let me show you. Now, about that marriage proposal I spoke of earlier. The story goes that the father told his daughter's lover he'd rather see her in a coffin than marry him. So he built this house shaped like a coffin. A strange reaction, but apparently it worked, as the father relented and the wedding took place. Thanks for watching.